Good afternoon, Hannah. This is Tom again from Just With Furniture. So, thanks for coming in. It was lovely seeing you again. What I intend to do in this video is just kind of run through the top level design, show you what we've got, and then right at the end I'll dial in on some of the dimensions I need you to check, just so that you're totally satisfied. The clothes that you're going to fit in each of those spaces are fit for that. So let's just start with the design of bedroom 2. Oh, sorry, the master bedroom. Okay, so obviously your headboard is here. That's the short wall there. That's where your bed will be coming out like that. And if we just open the doors and have a look from the left to right. So this is cabinet A, and this is your side, Hannah, and then the opposite side will be your husband. So you've got a double half height hanging with a shelf between. I'll show you the dimensions towards the end. And as Chris mentioned, the left door of cabinet B, you'll have a mirror. And then the right door of cabinet D, you'll have a mirror on the inside of both of those. So you've got a hat shelf at the top here, a vertical division, and then you'll have enough for your boxes to fit in these spaces all the way down. So, and then you've got a larger space at the bottom. Do forgive me, it's a little harder to see. Let's get rid of the doors. So you've got a big space at the bottom here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes there. And then for your husband, you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. And if we just open the drawers, you can see we've got inset to the cabinet. So they are recessed behind the doors and stepped in either side. So you lose a little bit of width and depth, but that's no problem at all. They're still nice and deep for your need. Now, critically, as we discovered in our session, Hannah, you'll need to make sure that you can reach all of these rails, which these are at the limit of. I think you were comfortable, you said, with 205 centimetres off of the floor. So as long as they were in that range, you could at least, on your tippy toes, put clothes onto the rails. And that way, we're not reducing any of the hung spaces from there to there, as you may still need a specific amount. So you'll need to double check this space and from the rail to the bottom here for your husband, and equally here. And then the same goes for your sections here, just making sure that whatever clothes you intend to go there have the clearance that they need. Now, that's for your master bedroom. Of course, we've kept the vertical divisions as discussed in the drawers. So 2 divisions in the top 2 drawers, and then 1 in each of the drawers below each on both sides. Okay, so that's your master bedroom. Let's move swiftly on to the guest bedroom. I think we were pretty clear on there. There were no changes that you wanted to make. You were happy with the materials. Currently, this is in the Roblé Denver, Hannah, that you saw on your way out of the workshop. This is where we started. And for the kids' bedroom, I think you said change to Lissa Oak, which is the one in the corner of my office here. So just let me know if you want to keep this or you'd like to change it to match the internals for the kids' bedrooms, though you may change that entirely as you've taken some of the samples away with you. And let's just double check this unit. It's definitely got the width we need. That's perfect. Okay, so master bedroom is sorted. Guest bedroom is sorted. Okay, let's start with the kids' bedroom. So we'll move over to Aces. In fact, let's start with tours because it'll give us some context. So what we were discussing was, let's open the doors. There we are. So we've introduced top boxes now, similarly to your bedroom. So you've got 1 double unit here, a single right hinged unit to the right of that, and then 1 box, 2 box, 3 box that are all right hinged. And that meant that this unit could be a double unit, so left hinge there and right hinge there on there. So something to consider, the reason why we created it this way was if we'd switched these cabinets round so that you had a single on the left hand side like so, you would effectively be losing those two shelves because of this notch here. So I think we'd concluded it made sense to have the double on the left and then the single on the right, and thereby it keeps the structure for this shelf, which fit your IKEA baskets that you already have. And in each of the kids' rooms, you've got one of those, two of those, three of those. So that's business as usual for you. But then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 baskets for Tor, and the very same has been given to Asa in her bedroom as well. So the internal materials are the Lissa Oak, and of course, as per the quote, the painted materials on the outside for each of the kids' bedrooms. Though, because the wood grain is shown on the outside for both the kids' bedrooms, you were going to check just which material they wanted there. Though whatever wood grain you have on the outside for these shelves and the side panels, I would make sure that it's the same on the internal for each of the bedrooms. So just make sure that you're clear there. So close that. On to Tor's bedroom now. So it is slightly, oops, sorry, not Tor's, onto Asa's now. So you'll notice that we had the double on the wall side in Tor's bedroom. And the reason for that, as I mentioned, was because of the notch in the corner. And it would lose those bottom two shelves. And I felt for him, because he said he didn't need that much hanging, it made more sense for that notch to be in the hung space. Though I'm sure for Asa, she might want a bit more hanging. So it made more sense to have the double on this side as opposed to the outside. So that's the logic behind that. So there's the mirror on the left-hand side of the double door. And as you can see, we've got one light groove on the right there and another on the left. And of course, on the right-hand side here, we've got a single unit. So the light grooves are opposite the hinges. So they're over here. And it's the exact same configuration for the shelves here. So we've got one big IKEA box, 2, 3 big IKEA boxes, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 baskets for each of the kids there. So that's lovely. Just give that a close now, and we'll be on to the boot room. So this was the one that we discussed. So we were concerned before about drilling into the wall where that cavity was for the doors. So there's the doorway over there, and if we effectively double that's basically the footprint of the cavity. And what we said and what we agreed with the chap on site, or Chris said, was that between there and there, you just drill a whole bunch of holes into there and you make it absolutely secure. And then you just glue across the remaining half. And that should be sufficient to hang your coat hooks. Obviously being mindful not to overload it, but it'll be fine. It'll hang your clothes and there won't be any issues there. But it is, of course, important to know that it's fixed onto the one side, not the other side. And then, of course, the idea would be just to have the hooks all the way across, like so. If you find hooks, do let us know. We'll fit them. I'll try and find some time to source some myself. But it might be better if you found a precise hook that matches your vision. And the material on this panel will be the same thickness as the melamine boards. So I would probably recommend that it matches this. So whatever material this is, currently I think it's a Lissa Oak. I would have that match this, which I think it is at the moment. Let's just double check. It is Lissa Oak. So, which is counter to the oak stave seating. And then everything on the outside is cocoa. And all of these edges, by the way, will represent the face of the panel that it's on. The exception in this room is all of these edges you see in blue. Every edge you see in blue there will be black. So it'll be black tape, not the wood grain matching this panel. Okay, so that'll be wood. All of these edges will be black that you're seeing there, including these double edges over here. And the back panels for this will be matching this material here, which is Grey Cocoa, which is another melamine-faced MDF. And that is going to be the same material on the end panel here, as well as, of course, the back panel. And the same for the drawer fronts, the fillers, and the wee end panel here on the side. Okay, so that was a lot to race through, so do forgive me if that was a bit of a rush. I wanted to keep this video as prompt as possible, but hopefully that explains all the detail that you were after. Do let me know about the drops. In fact, let's just double check. So we'll start with aces. So from the rail to the floor is 202. So just make sure that that's okay for you. And 104 for the top section is the drop, and 80 centimeters is the drop from the lowest portion to the rail. Though do bear in mind, you're not really hanging much on the left-hand side, even if you fold your clothes. So just bear that in mind. Now let's jump over to Ace's bedroom really quick. Ace's bedroom. So from the rail to, let's just add a quick plinth just so you can see. From there to the plinth would be 202 centimeters, so it is quite high up. And from the rail to the shelf will be 92.4. That's the drop before you hit the shelf. And then below that, from the shelf to the space below is again 92. So like I said, we can bias that if you need it. So like taller blouses, shorter trousers or skirts below. Do let me know how you'd like to tweak that, if at all. And the other one was the master bedroom, wasn't it? Let's go to the master bedroom. And it was really important that you make sure that your drops on your side, Hannah. The top space is 98 to the shelf, and then it's 90 below. So bigger on top, smaller below. Of course, we can always work with that if that's something that you're interested in. Oh, hang on, so we didn't do the drop to the floor, did we? So from there to the floor is 205. So that's really on the limit for you. And you may need this to come down. But again, we're starting to compromising on space. So 205, that's within reach. Now these are your husband's cabinets. So it's 203. So it is lower than your cabinets. And you've got 106 to the rail. So in fact, that space actually is probably much better. In fact, what I might want to do is squeeze this space down on the bottom. So drop that down and have this rail come down equivalently so that they are the exact space. They are ever so slightly out. These two rails are the same though. So last two, so the drop, let's move my face out the way. Rail to the shelf is 96 and then the space below is 90. Though to the floor is 203. So 203 was in the range of tippy toe, but we really need to make sure that you're satisfied with the hung space of the garments that are going in there. So do let me know. Okay, that's everything from me in this video. Hopefully that was helpful. We're dialing in things in now, so we're right at the very end, but do let me know your thoughts and we'll speak soon. Bye for now.